How many of you guys know our lives are not always neatly put together by the end of like a 30-minute TV sitcom? It's not like that, is it? Always. So a lot of the stories that I receive from people are people who haven't seen their breakthrough yet, you know? They're still fighting, right? It might be you today, too. But that song, Mended, I was so excited to travel and surprise this woman named Kathy and play her song, because her story inspired me to write that song. When you see broken beyond repair, God sees healing beyond belief. When you see wounded, God sees mended. Kathy had been abused her whole life by her parents. She ran away from home and entered into a life of more abuse, was a victim of trafficking for much of her teenage and adult life. And she was rescued by a ministry, but she had had such a hard life that just psychologically and physically, she thought she was just too wounded for God to even love her. She began a really awesome turnaround in her life, though. They brought her to safety. I went and visited her in her one-bedroom apartment. It was the first time she'd ever been safe from harm. And I brought my guitar, and I sang hymns for her. And at one point, I looked over at her, and she was just bawling. And she had this southern accent, and she was real sassy, right? But she was crying. I stopped singing. I was like, Kathy, I'm so sorry. I'll stop. I didn't mean to make you cry. And she says, no, you don't understand. Like, my whole life, I developed the ability never to cry because I haven't been able to feel anything my whole life because of the pain that was happening. She said, so now when I cry, it's a good thing because it means that God's like healing me and I can feel again. You know, it's powerful. And so I wrote the song for her, and then I went and got this big plaque made that had the lyrics handwritten and a note to Kathy and a message to Kathy, and I could picture it being on the wall in her one-bedroom apartment, you know. And when I called to try to find her, we couldn't find her, and we don't know where she is, and she's gone through a really tough time, and so it's one of those stories that's not fully mended, right? And I still have that plaque sitting in my house in my music room, and I would use that as a reminder for myself that, you know, we're all works in progress, right? And some of us won't see our full healing, our full mending until we stand before the Lord. But ultimately, we will, right? And so I believe that for Kathy, that he's not done. Like the song says, I'm not finished yet, right? It's good. So you could say a prayer for a woman named Kathy. If you ever hear that song on the radio, go, okay, Lord, please mend Kathy wherever she is. Amen?